Welcome to the dawn of time. Today we witness a dark truth. The first blood spilled on Earth was not in war. Look at this barren wasteland. A heavy stone lies on the dark soil, stained with the fresh marks of a brutal crime. There are no armies here, no kings fighting for gold. Only two brothers, standing alone beneath a silent sky. One man stands, breathing heavily, his hands fully red. At his feet lies his own brother, perfectly still and cold. What drove a man to commit such a dark act? Let us rewind time and explore the deep psychology of envy. The wind howls across the empty plains, carrying a chilling silence. Nature itself seems to hold its breath in pure shock. Cain looks down at his trembling hands, unable to comprehend the horror. The red stains on his fingers feel so warm. His pulse is racing, a violent drumbeat in his chest. The heavy stone slips from his grip and hits the dusty ground. Ancient texts suggest this was the exact moment humanity lost its innocence. A tragic fall into the abyss of hate. Abel lies peacefully, as if he is only sleeping. But his chest no longer rises, and his gentle eyes are closed. How did two brothers, born from the very same flesh and blood, end up in this fatal tragedy of endless sorrow? There was no dispute over wealth, no fight for a crown. This murder was born from something much deeper and darker. It was a silent poison, feeding on insecurity and pride. A poison that slowly destroyed a man from the inside. To understand the mind of the first killer, we must look backward. We must return to the days before the bloodshed. We must go back to the altars of stone, where the true conflict began. The place where faith met bitter rejection. The world was still young, untainted by the cruel weapons of war. The earth yielded its harvest through hard, honest sweat. Cain was the firstborn, a man of the soil with rough, weathered hands. He worked the stubborn earth beneath the burning sun. His younger brother, Abel, chose a different, much softer path. He wandered the green hills, tending to his quiet flock. Though their lives were different, they shared a single, ancient belief. They sought to honor the unseen creator of all. And so, they built two altars of unhewn stone upon the high ground, a sacred space to offer the fruits of their labor. Imagine standing in that ancient world, offering your very best. How would you feel if your pure sacrifice was ignored? Cain brought the harvest of the field, the dry stalks of golden wheat, a tribute born from his endless days of heavy toil. Abel brought the firstborn of his flock, the finest, spotless lambs, a gentle offering of pure innocence and true faith. Both brothers stood in silence, waiting for the divine response. The air grew thick, holding the weight of their unspoken prayers. Suddenly, a brilliant light pierced through the heavy gray clouds. A warm breeze swept across the high, rugged mountain peak. A majestic column of smoke rose from Abel's stone altar. It soared straight into the heavens, welcomed and embraced. The Creator had accepted the humble shepherd's pure gift. A profound sense of peace washed over the younger brother. But what of Cain? His altar remained cold, the smoke heavy and dark. The harsh wind blew his offering down into the dirt. According to ancient texts, his sacrifice was firmly rejected. The heavens remained silent, offering no comfort at all. Cain stood frozen, staring at the scattered wheat on the ground. A deep, burning shame began to knot inside his stomach. It was not just a rejection of his hard agricultural labor. It felt like a total rejection of his entire soul. Why was his brother favored? Why was his own sweat considered less? These dark questions echoed loudly in his troubled mind. Scholars believe this moment birthed the concept of human envy, the painful realization of one's own inadequacy. Instead of seeking to improve his heart, Cain chose a darker path. He let the bitter roots of resentment take strong hold. His face fell, the shadows deepening around his intense, dark eyes. The rough farmer clenched his fists until his knuckles turned white. He looked at Abel, who was bathed in the warm, golden light. That radiant peace only fueled the raging fire in Cain. Every time he saw his brother, he saw his own massive failure. The pure shepherd became a mirror of his own deep flaws. Days turned into weeks, and the heavy silence grew much worse. Cain barely spoke, his mind consumed by toxic, dark thoughts. He neglected his fields, letting the once golden wheat turn brown. His soul was rotting, much like the barren soil beneath him. The divine voice finally broke the silence, carrying a warning. A gentle yet firm reminder echoing in the quiet wind. Why are you so angry? Why is your face entirely downcast? The Creator saw the dangerous storm brewing inside him. If you do what is right, will you not be fully accepted? A profound question, challenging his stubborn, prideful heart. When faced with personal failure, do we look inward to improve? Or do we blame those who shine brighter than we ever could? The warning continued, striking at the core of human weakness. Sin is crouching at your door. It strongly desires to have you, but you must rule over it. A clear call to master his dark urges. The power of free will was placed entirely in his hands. Cain had a choice. He could humble himself and find a better way, or he could let the crouching beast consume his entire soul. Tragically, the farmer ignored the sacred, divine warning. His wounded ego was far too fragile to accept the truth. The psychology of extreme envy is a terrifying force. It convinces the mind that the only cure is destruction. If Cain could not elevate himself to reach his brother's height, he would simply drag his brother down into the muddy earth. The sinister plan took shape in the dark corners of his mind. He masked his violent hatred with a very calm, fake smile. He approached Abel, hiding the venom dripping from his heart. "Let us go out to the field," he said with a chilling calm. Abel, pure and trusting, saw no malice in his brother's eyes. He happily agreed, leaving his quiet flock far behind them. They walked side by side into the vast and isolated wasteland. The sun began to set, painting the sky in a bloody red. The shadows grew incredibly long, stretching across the barren dirt. There were no witnesses here, only the silent, ancient stones. Cain's heartbeat quickened, pounding loudly against his tense chest. The heavy silence of the empty field felt suffocating. He looked at his brother's back, feeling a surge of pure malice. All the pent-up rage and bitter shame boiled over at once. He bent down slowly, his rough fingers brushing the dry, cold soil. His hand closed tightly around a large, jagged, heavy stone. In that split second, the course of human history was changed. The first act of brutal violence was about to be unleashed. He raised the heavy weapon high above his own brother's head. The air grew completely still, anticipating the fatal strike. With a loud cry, he brought the stone crashing down onto the dirt. The cruel impact shattered the evening peace forever. Abel collapsed onto the dusty earth without a single word. His pure blood spilled, soaking into the dry and thirsty ground. And now we return to the horrifying scene where we began. Cain stands paralyzed, the bloody weapon dropping from his hand. The rush of adrenaline fades, leaving a cold, hollow dread. The reality of his monstrous crime slowly sets firmly in. He cannot undo what has been done. The fatal blow is struck. The vibrant life of his younger brother is gone forever. A dark, suffocating guilt wraps tightly around his trembling soul. He falls to his knees, staring blankly at the crimson mud. History mocks this as the ultimate failure of human nature. The devastating triumph of toxic jealousy over basic love. The blood of Abel cries out loudly from the unforgiving ground. The heavens shake with the weight of this unprecedented sin. Suddenly, the terrifying voice of the Creator echoes down. It cuts through the thick silence like a sharp, blazing sword. "Where is your brother Abel?" The divine question demands the truth, but the stubborn killer tries to hide his unbearable guilt. "I do not know," Cain mutters, his voice shaking with pure terror. "Am I my brother's keeper?" The ultimate, selfish defense, but nothing can be hidden from the eyes of the divine judge. The brutal evidence is permanently stained upon the earth. "What have you done?" The voice thunders with immense, righteous anger. "Listen! Your brother's blood cries out to me from the dark ground." The curse is pronounced, sealing the tragic fate of the murderer. The soil, now soaked with innocent blood, will yield no crops. The first farmer is forever stripped of his beloved livelihood. He will wander the earth as a restless, fearful fugitive. Driven away from his home, he must face the endless unknown. a harsh punishment for the man who destroyed his own blood. Cain cries out in despair, claiming the heavy punishment is too much. He fears that anyone who finds him will surely kill him, but the Creator places a mystical mark upon his forehead. The mark of Cain, a symbol of divine protection and deep shame. It ensures that no man can take his life in quick revenge. He must live with the agonizing memory of his dark crime. He turns his back on the blood-stained field and walks slowly away, the heavy burden of endless guilt crushing his weary spine. As he steps into the shadows, the age of innocence truly dies. Humanity has learned the terrible art of taking a life. The dark psychological pattern of envy has been firmly set. Whenever greatness shines, the weak will seek to tear it right down. The story of these two brothers is not just an ancient myth. It is a profound reflection of our own internal struggles. We all carry the seeds of jealousy deep within our complex minds. The true battle is choosing whether to water those dark seeds. Let the tragedy of the first murder serve as a stark warning. True greatness is never achieved by destroying someone else. The winds of time continue to blow across that barren wasteland. The ancient stones remember the sorrow of that fateful day. Through the centuries, this dark tale has been told time and again, a chilling reminder of what happens when we lose our way. It challenges us to master the crouching darkness at our door, to rise above our insecurities and choose the path of light. Even today, the spiritual descendants of Cain walk among us, driven by endless greed, bitter spite, and uncontrollable rage. But we also carry the gentle, pure, and trusting spirit of Abel, the capacity for selfless love, deep faith, and sacrifice. Which legacy will you choose to leave behind in this brief life? The brutal strike of the stone, or the smoke rising to heaven? The choice remains ours, just as it was in the very beginning. Free will is both our greatest gift and our heaviest burden. The shadow of Cain stretches long across the pages of history. From ancient empires to the battlefields of the modern world, blood continues to soak the earth in countless tragic conflicts. Driven by the same ancient flaws that poisoned the first farmer, if we do not learn from the profound mistakes of our distant past, we are truly doomed to repeat this endless cycle of pain. The dark soil of the wasteland holds the secrets of humanity, a silent witness to our remarkable rise and tragic fall. As the glowing twilight fades into a completely starless night, the lonely figure of the exiled wanderer disappears from sight. He carries his guilt into the harsh, unforgiving wilderness. A broken man, forever haunted by the ghost of his brother. His descendants will build great cities and forge weapons of bronze. But the ancient stain of violence will never truly wash away. They will seek absolute power to conquer the sky above. A dark pursuit, born from the ashes of ancient crime. The seeds of human dark ambition have been firmly sown today. What comes next will violently shake the foundations of Earth. As generations slowly passed, the exiled bloodline quickly grew. They spread across the vast and unforgiving Earth. He built the first great city and named it after his own son, a monument to hide his deep, eternal, bitter shame. Within those strong city walls, humanity forgot the light. They chose to trust their own raw strength and weapons of hard bronze. The dark legacy of the first murder was never lost. It echoed through the ages, staining the hands of all men. The ancient descendants grew proud, arrogant, and bold. They thought they could rule the earth without a higher power. The glowing mark on his forehead became a sign of dark pride, a badge of honor for those who dared to defy the sky. Yet the broken earth still remembered the blood of Abel. The dark soil refused to yield its crops to wicked human hands. Driven by hunger and endless, insatiable, blind greed, they turned their weapons on each other in bitter wars. The single act of a jealous brother poisoned the whole world. Violence became the law in this godless, dark kingdom. But humanity was not satisfied with the dirt ground. They looked up at the heavens with a deep and bitter hate. They wanted to conquer the skies and dethrone the Creator. They craved absolute power to erase their weakness. This arrogance united the fractured, warring human tribes. A new, terrifying era of ambition dawned. They gathered their brightest minds and their strongest, bravest builders. They designed a tower to pierce through the very clouds. This grand structure would stand as the ultimate sign of man's pride, a direct challenge to the divine power of the sky. The spirit of Cain lived on in every brick they laid. The envy that started then now threatened the entire world. How far will humanity go to feed their endless greed? Will they succeed in building a tower to reach the stars? The answer lies in the next chapter of our ancient tale. Join us as we explore the tragic Tower of Babel. Cain was exiled, but his dark legacy still lives on today. Was his brutal crime born from fate or human free will? Could he have chosen a better path to heal his dark pride? Share your honest thoughts in the comments and let us discuss. If you enjoyed this journey, please like and share this video. Subscribe to our channel for more thrilling history tales.